Hi and welcome to this video from the heart of Snowdonia National Park. I'm actually at the base of Mount Snowdon today. I'm going to take a walk up one of the many trails up here. I'm actually going to be doing today the Watkin path. But what I'm going to be doing is showing you the absolutely extraordinary features to photograph on this walk. It's absolutely astounding. I've been here a couple of times before, done this trail. We'll cover the ancient woodland, the rock pools which are a stunning shade of blue, the waterfalls and also the ruins and the mines as well. So hopefully the weather will break up. It's a little bit overcast at the moment, but the forecast is for it to get sunnier. So let's head on off up the trail and we'll head into the ancient woodland first, and then we'll start to cover the rock pools which are absolutely stunning. And I'm videoing this bit right at the end of today's walk because what I wanted to explain was the way that I'm going to structure this video is to take a series of compositions in different locations. There were so many locations, so many potential images. So what I'll do in each of those locations is then show you a series of images that I captured there along with the composition techniques. And for those of you that follow me, this tree in the background is my favourite lone tree. This is the one, if you follow me on Vero, you will have seen a few images of this, both long exposure and with the sun setting behind. Absolutely love this lone tree. That's a video for another day because one day I'm going to come here and I'm just going to do a video about this lone tree. I'm really sure I am. But let's get on with the bulk of the video, which is the composition, the locations on this trail, because it is absolutely amazing. So on the trail, it's really important to observe everything that you can, and I really love this part of this trail. The actual trail itself has a natural S leading up the hill through the steps giving definition to the actual trail. The tree on the left gives us a natural frame on the left-hand side, and then the tree on the right, the smaller tree, gives us a little bit of context, but the trees disappearing into the distance, the depth of those trees really adds to that image. But this is really important about woodland photography, capturing the essence of the scene itself. Absolutely vital to understand that. Now it is winter right now, so I mean it's the middle of January or end of January at the moment, so there's not a lot of greenery on the trees, there's not a lot of leaves, but actually that adds to the atmosphere of an ancient forest because you can pick up the gnarliness of the trees and the branches when they're not covered in leaves. So I've set the tripod low so that I've got that angle looking up the trail as well. That's an important thing. Not everything needs to be at high level. That's absolutely critical. And the sun is, there's some clouds rolling over. The sun is, I think, going to peak out in 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm just going to be patient here and I'll capture that image with the sun because I think it will catch some great rays going through and some great shadows going through the actual woodland. And now also, because of the longitudinal nature of the trail, what I've done is go portrait mode. Absolutely brilliant. It adds a completely different context to the image because you extenuate the trail going forward through the scene. Yes, I just met a great guy on the trail. So also, sometimes it's important to add context. So I've taken a snap with him doing the trail and going up. He's going to be going to the same ruins that I'm going to today. So, because this is a beautiful part of the world. And before we go up to the pools and the waterfalls and the ruins, one more on the trail. I love this S. It's really beautiful trail through this ancient woodland. I love the moss on the left and the death of winter. Death's not the right word maybe, but I love the winter starkness of the trees in the background with the green moss covering the rocks in the foreground and the way that the path S's through this terrain. Absolutely fantastic. So let's capture this image. I've got the tripod higher now because I want to accentuate the curve of the trail. So again, it's one of those things, change your tripod height when taking photographs. Absolutely critical because not everything should be taken at eye level. We'll head on up now to the remaining features, the rock pools, the waterfalls and the ruins. But I will just capture this image, landscape and portrait. So let's take a quick look at that as we're heading up. So I'm now approaching the first main cascades or waterfall, and also there's a small ruined cottage down there, probably a croft or something, may have belonged also to the old mines. And then growing out of this, there's an amazing tree which you may not be able to make out at the moment, so we'll head on over there. The trail sweeps around to the right, but there is a shortcut through this field that people tend to do, leading up to the hill. You can see the path leading up to the valley above the waterfall. So let's head on over to the house and we'll get some images of that. We're approaching the first of the ruins now, and this is the one where I'm really only going to want to capture one image, and that is of the waterfall in the background. The waterfall in the cascades are stunning. You can see the texture though in the rocks. That's one for another day. Maybe I'll do a video just of the ruins on this hill and how to capture those. But you can see the state of dilapidation and disrepair on these ruins. Old croft, something to do with the old mine works. I'd need to check that online to find out what that's all about. But let's clamber over these rocks. You can see the tree now. We've approached the tree, it's absolutely phenomenal. And then you've got the waterfall cascading through. So let me get set up and we'll capture an image of that. As you can see, I've got the camera set up quite precariously now. The tripod is kind of balanced on these rocks, the part of the derelict wall around the building. And this is the framing that I'm looking at. I'm looking at these branches as leading lines, framed by the wall and the tree trunk on the right, capturing the waterfall in the distance. The wind's starting to get up now. But what I'll then do is just stop it down and get a slightly slower shutter speed just to give some lines in the water as well. So let's see what these images look like. I think the framing and the composition is really good. Okay, with that image in the bag, let's head up to all the rock pools and the cascades and let's see if we can get any sunlight. The grey is coming through, but let's see if we can get any sunlight to really bring out the colours of those pools. And here's a location that's not for the particularly faint-hearted. You just have to do this short rock clamber. So that the way that I've composed this image is, we've got the flow coming in from the right, we've got the flow coming in at the bottom, we've got the bridge, and then we've got the mountains right in the distance. We've got so much texture in the clouds. Absolutely love that. We've got the trees bringing our eye in from the left as well. And we've got the fence, the path coming in from the right. So everything leads us to the bridge, looking under the bridge and through into the distance. So the natural eye draw is through the cascade, under the bridge and into the distance, into the mountains in the distance. So let's capture this image. So my first capture is actually going to be in portrait mode. I think this really suits a good portrait mode. And I've got my 18 to 135 on at the moment. May change to the 10 to 18 to get the really depth of the landscape captured within the image. So the shutter speed I've got is quite a fast one. It's really freezing the action. So what I'm going to do is just pop on my ND64 filter. And the sun's finally starting to break through. Sadly, I'm in kind of the wrong location at the moment. What I'm really trying to do is get this flow of the waterfall. I've got the 10 to 18 on now. I've got it right down. I've got it down to about 12 mil. Really capturing the landscape. So what I'll do now, I'll capture this image. Let's take a look at the images I've captured in this location. And what we'll do, we'll move on to the rock pools. The blue pools are so stunning. The sun should be on them now. So I'm going to pack up here while we look at these images and we'll head on up to the rock pools. And please remember, if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Your support for the channel is massive and it really helps the channel just to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'm now at one of my favourite blue pools. It's very windy though, so there's a lot of ruffles on the lake. On the pool. What I'll do is I'll just wait for the wind to drop before I capture the image. What I'm going to do is capture the blueness of the lake in the foreground Right, in a little lull in the wind, I think, let's snap on the polarizing filter and let's see what our composition looks like. The wind is getting up again. I am doing a lot of my shooting in manual today, by the way, so let's get this. Oh, that pool with the waterfall coming into it. I do hope the camera's not wobbling about too much, by the way. Let's just make sure that we take out all reflections. Wow, that is amazing. Polarizing filters are absolutely essential kits for landscape photography. What I've got is the waterfall on the top, that's in the top of the image, flowing as and leading the eye into the pool. So where we've got the clarity and the blueness of the water, with the orange stones and rocks on the floor of the pool coming through because we've got the polarizer cutting out any reflection. And then in the bottom left, we've got this small flow of water leading us out. So it leads us naturally through the image. So this is the kind of thing that you need to think about when on location. What is the flow? What is my final crop potentially going to be as well? And this is my favorite of the blue pools on this location. One day I will do a video which is the whole of the kind of just the pools and the waterfalls of this location, because they're absolutely stunning in their own right. So what I'm really doing today is I'm really just skimming the surface of what this trail has to offer. If you're ever up here, absolutely stunning, and this will give you some idea of the kind of things that are capable to be shot on location up here. Now what I want is the sun to come on this pool. Right, the sun is just coming out, it's just coming down the valley. I'm going to try and take advantage. There's still some ripples, but what I'm getting is I've got quite a long exposure to flatten out and take those ripples. Right, let's go. Oh, we're getting some lovely ones. Right, the sun is now 10, 20 meters from the waterfall. And this is what it's about being a landscape photographer sometimes. It's just about to hit the top of the waterfall. I can see the sun in the background now. You know, if it doesn't hit the waterfall and the pool, I may sulk. Just a heads up. Here it comes. It's got to come. It's right on the bank behind the waterfall. Oh, the anticipation of this shot. Absolutely unbelievable. It's not hitting the waterfall. The woes of a landscape photographer on the road. Who'd have thought that that sun twice could hit the bank behind the waterfall but not hit the waterfall? We're now at that's the lower cascade. We're now at my favorite waterfall on this trail. Let's get a bit closer to it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's not one of the world's biggest. It's not as big as Pistol Rear. Check out my video on that one on waterfalls. But this one is just so beautiful. You can actually get right in front of it. As you can see, you can walk right to the face of the falls. You can see now this blue sky in the background as well. Absolutely phenomenal. I hope you can hear me okay. Let's just zoom that out. Yes. So you can see what we've got here. Absolutely brilliant. And then it goes down the valley. Goes down the valley. See my tripod there. Down past the trail, along the trail that we've walked along into the distance. I do hope that you guys can hear me okay. One of the things being so close to a waterfall, especially when face on, something to keep your lens nice and clean. Let's just make sure my front element, get those drops off both the and I've got the ND64. The wind is really strong, but I don't think that a head-on shot for this waterfall is right. What I've got here is, I've got it at 1.3 seconds. Oh, I love that. But I've got the composition picking up the main elements of the waterfall. So cutting across the actual waterfall itself. So I'm going to move it slightly now into a different location so I can get more of the downstream action of the waterfall itself. So I've moved now to the end of the waterfall where I'm actually going to take portrait of the action. Again, 10 to 18. We've got the peak in the background. I'm trying to be quick here because the spray when the wind blows is absolutely incredible. I'm having to underexpose for the sky, so let's see what that takes, because I want to make sure that I don't completely burn the sky out because the sun is in the background. What I'm actually going to do is zoom in and cut the sky out almost completely. Let's just make sure we don't cut off the peak. We don't want a peak being hidden. Right, let's capture this. And the wind is getting up tremendous. Oh, I'm getting soaked. Oh, me and my camera are getting soaked. Okay, I've dried the camera off. Oh, I'm still getting soaked. But I want to get the foreground. I want to get the grass in the foreground as well. Let's see what we can do here. I want to get the rock and the grass. I think I'm going to have to set this up. The perils of being a waterfall photographer in strong winds. Right, let's give that front element a really good clean. Let's make sure our tripod is well mounted. Let's really get that detail in the waterfall as it streams through. Absolutely lovely. Right, and again, I'm going to stop it down. I want to make sure I get no burn-up. We can always recover the detail in the shadows. That can work really brilliantly in Lightroom. I have done a video on exposure recovery, by the way, so please do check that out. Right, I'm going to go and change position so that I'm no longer in the downstream, or should I say downwind location now. So let me change position and we'll get another composition here, and then we'll have a look at the gallery of waterfalls from this, or the gallery of images from this waterfall in a second. So for my next composition, I've actually gone upwind. It's a bit of a clamber down by the side of the waterfall across these rocks. I don't think I'd want to do this if it was totally in flood. I do still hope you can hear me okay. But what I've got on this composition is this small waterfall in front, right at the bottom third, leading away and out of the frame, with the main waterfall cascading into the top right hand side. So it leads us right through the image. And there's some beautiful lines with a long exposure. Again, the water's moving so fast, you don't want much more than half a second. If you increase the shutter speed to much more than half a second, you get a far too much of a milky effect. Now, I know some people love that, and in fact, I am one of those people that really like a milky effect in a stream. But actually, what we've got here is an absolutely amazing flow that you don't want to overexpose. The one that I really love here, I think my favorite image here is 1 second. And I love this feature on this trail. It's an absolutely stunning waterfall. It's very natural in terms of the way it rotates and turns the stream 90 degrees and then flows and continues to flow down the river. Right, I'm going to go up to my final location now, the old slate mines and quarry at the top. There's some fantastic ruins up there. Hopefully the sun will stay out for us or come out on those. So I've got the composition that I was hoping for. Sadly, I've had a bit of a nightmare. The wind blew over my tripod and camera, despite the fact that it's got spikes in the feet. I can see my phone moving about as I'm filming this. This won't focus anymore. No, I'm gonna have to go, I'll switch it back in. I think I'm gonna be able to, or manually focus it, but absolutely broken equipment. What a nightmare. So let me put my 10-18. I've just tested, it's not my camera body. That's good news. It's focusing fine with my 18-135. My 10-18 though, not focusing, so I'm gonna actually change this back over and do a bit of manual focusing on this one, because the 10-18 is perfect for this composition. Please let me know in the comment section below what you think to each of these images. And also remember to check out some of my other videos that I've taken here in Snowdon. Absolutely love this place, it's so beautiful. And remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.